When the sea turned black, the whale oil lamps were lit in the main saloon, and the passengers began to gather. They joked and joshed, glad for something to do, for they were not used to the idleness of life at sea. Jack waited on deck with the black sow from the animal pens. He saw the horse doctor enter on his peg leg, followed by the judge, smoking on one of his homemade cigars. The ex-soldiers were singing, "Going to California with the washbowl on my knee." When all the passengers were assembled, the captain made a grand entrance, puffing on a twisted black cigar, with his long coat flapping almost to his knees. "Gentlemen," he said, "I'll get to the point. I'm told there may be a thief among us, a cut purse. We can't have that now, can we?" "No," roared out the gold seekers, giving their purses and money belts a reassuring touch. "We'll string him up," yelled a big feller known as Mountain Jim. He had full red eyebrows and wore a bobcat cap. The captain held up a hand to stop the voices. "This cut purse has already struck, gentlemen." He lifted the savings of Mr. Praiseworthy and his young partner. "You've seen them working off their passage at the coal bunkers. The thief may strike again. Any one of you may be his next victim. He may be standing at your elbow. I'll now turn the meeting over to the aforementioned persons who have a plan to capture the scoundrel." Praiseworthy, tall and calm, stepped forward. "Thank you, Captain Swain," he said. "Our plan is very simple, gentlemen. Master Jack, the sow, if you please." At that signal, Jack led the big black hog to the center of the saloon and tied her to a post. The men began to exchange baffled glances. What had a large sow to do with catching a thief? But if there was a thief among them, they wanted him caught. Their own purses weren't safe with a light-fingered fellow aboard. "A pig is a smart animal," Praiseworthy explained. "None smarter," yelled out Mountain Jim. "Take this old sow," Praiseworthy went on. "She's very wise. We've discovered that she can tell a dishonest man by the mere feel of him. She squeals. Gentlemen, if you can't even tell a simple lie in her presence, she'll squeal every time. A most remarkable hog, I must say." Jack looked about the many faces shining under the flickering whale oil lamps. There were the horse doctor and the Mexico fighters and the judge with his sword cane. Not even Mountain Jim, with his fur cap, was above suspicion. Jack fed the black sow a limp carrot to keep her quiet, but he began to feel anxious. What if Praiseworthy was wrong, and the thief wasn't aboard the Lady Wama at all? "I assure you," Praiseworthy was saying, "that if the cut purse so much as touches this hog, she will squeal. If you will line up, gentlemen, we'll get on with it. After the lamps are blown out and the saloon is dark, come up to the sow one by one. Touch her with your right index finger. When she squeals, we'll have our thief." "I'm for it," one of the ex-soldiers said. "Me too." "Good plan," said the judge. "Suits me," agreed the horse doctor, turning on his peg leg. "Some of you boys, get the lamps. Let's see how smart this hog is. If you're an honest man, you've got nothing to fear." A moment later, the saloon was in pitch darkness, and Jack held himself very still, feeding carrots to the animal so she wouldn't squeal. One by one, the gold seekers approached and ran a finger along the sow's back. A minute passed. 2. Not a sound from the hog. The passengers scuffed across the deck in their boots, touched the hog, and retired. The men were silent, listening for the squeal that would trap the guilty man. 10 minutes passed, and still they came. Even Praiseworthy felt a bit tense now. When finally the whale oil lamps were relit, the black sow hadn't uttered a sound. She stood in the center of the saloon, wondering what all the fuss was about. Captain Swain stepped forward, scratching his beard as he looked about his passengers, and then turned to Praiseworthy. "Looks like you made a mistake. That cut purse isn't aboard this ship. By grabs, I'm sorry about you and the lad there, but it looks like you'll be shoveling coal all the way around the Horn of California." "One moment," said Praiseworthy, as unconcerned as you please. "It's true. The sow didn't squeal, but the guilty party stands in this room, sir. Gentlemen, Master Jack and I took the liberty of powdering this black sow with coal dust. If each of you will now examine your right index finger where you touched her hide, you will find a smudge." Every man in the saloon instantly turned up his hand, and there, indeed, was the smudge of black dust. Praiseworthy didn't waste a moment. But one of you, fearing that the sow's squeal would give you away, one of you approached, but didn't touch a finger to her back. Look around you, gentlemen. If there is a man among you without coal dust on his finger, he has exposed himself as the thief. Almost at once there was an outcry from one corner of the saloon. "We got him!" Passengers, suddenly angry, crowded around, and Jack couldn't see who they had pounced upon. "We'll string him up. Look there. His finger's as clean as a whistle. It's the judge. Judge, my eye. He's an imposter." Jack burrowed through the crowd in time to see the judge attempt to draw a sword cane, but the Mexico fighters jumped in and pinned his arms back. By the time the ship's officers got a hold of the frock-coated impostor, his hat was caved in and the cigar hung in shreds from his mouth. Now the crowd opened up, and Jack had never seen Praiseworthy with such a fierce look in his eye. "I suppose we'll find the balance of our money in your cabin, sir." "Try to find it," spat the thief, peering from Jack to Praiseworthy and back again. "Clever you are. But we'll meet again, I warn you, or my name's not Cut-Eye Higgins." "Humbug," said Praiseworthy just as sharply. The miners had their own ideas of justice, and the suggestions went flying around the saloon. "Pitch him overboard and let him swim to California." "String him up." "Put him in irons." But Captain Swain already had his mind made up. "Take him to the coal bunkers. By the time we cross the equator, by grabs, he'll think he's in Hades."